everyone, Cherie here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here. We're gonna work on turning these extra quilt blocks from the half square triangle quilt tutorial that I put up. We're going to use these extra blocks. I had 8 blocks left over, and we're gonna turn those into a new project. So if you missed that video, I will link to it here in the iCards, and I will also link to it in the description box and maybe the first comment, so you can go back and watch that. And that's going to show you how to make the half square triangle blocks. Okay, so now so I made the whole half square triangle quilt top in that video, and now we're going to get these remaining blocks assembled into something to go with it. So yeah, let me show you. Let's go one. Well, no, let's turn the camera around so we can see the quilt blocks, and then I'll show you the other fabric that I pulled to use for this project. All right. Okay, so we have these 8 half square triangle blocks left over from that quilt top, and we're going to assemble these so that we can make 2 throw pillows. Okay, so we're going to use 4 squares for one of the pillows and 4 for the second one. And then for the backing of the pillows, I pulled this fabric here. It brings out the blue. It brings out the blue and the purple. This is also from K Facet. This is the jumbo print. And let's see what the colorway is here. So this is a Brandon Mabley design. The print is called Jumbo. And I'll put a link to it in the description box, and I'll try to remember to put on the screen the colorway for this. But it's gonna blend in really nicely, pulling these colors. But again, this is gonna be on the back of the pillow, all right? Now you don't have to quilt your pillows. You could assemble these and simply put like a piece of muslin on the back to kind of line it to keep those seams covered, and then proceed with all the rest of the steps to make the pillow. I want mine quilted to go with the quilt. So I have my batting here as well. All right. So let me decide how I'm going to assemble the blocks to make the pillows. So this is going to be all straight seam sewing to assemble the tops for the pillow covers. So I'm not going to show you every little detail there because I went through all of that in the quilt tutorial. So yeah, we don't want to spend too much time on this because it's just repeating the same thing over and over again. You're sewing straight lines, all right? So let me show you the assembly though, okay? Okay, so for the first pillow top, I'm going to put these 4 together. So you can see here, I put it in a way where the blues are meeting up to form that little diamond of blue in the middle, and then I'll have the greens on the outer. And I just mixed them up so that they were all 4 of the greens were different. And then to assemble these, it's again going to be very straightforward. We're going to take 1 square and we're going to flip this over onto it. Okay. And we're going to sew, straight down this line right here. So I'm going to put pins here to indicate my sewing line. And then we're going to sew that together, just a straight seam, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'll remove the pins and I'll press that seam open like all the other seams. Then we're going to come down. We're going to repeat that for these 2. So again, put your pins in to indicate the side that you need to sew so you don't get confused. So we're going to sew down here, this long edge of the blue ones, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we're going to press that open. Okay. All right, so I have those pinned. I'm going to go sew those and iron those open. All right, and here's my assembly for the second pillow cover, and I'm just going to repeat what I did for the first one. I'm going to come over, fold that over. I'm going to come here, fold this over. I'm going to get this seam pinned and sewn at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Same thing here, pin and then sew 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then press those seams open just like here. All right, so I did that first step. I have 2 of the blocks sewn together twice, right? And so now what I'm going to do, let me just show you what it looks like. Well, actually, while I flip it. So we did 1 and 1, sewn 1 to 1. Now we're going to flip this down, right sides facing, lining up those blues. And now we're going to put pins across this long seam of the blue to get that sewn together. And you can see here, this is what that seam is looking like. I sewed it with that 1/4 inch seam allowance and then went to the iron and pressed it open. All right, let me get the pins in here. Okay, the pins are in. And remember, I went into detail in the sew along for the quilt top on how to try to get these seams lined up as best as possible. Pinning there, pinning here at that middle seam, then pinning here at the other corner first, and then just putting pins in the middle. Now I'm going to head to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew straight down the seam here, again with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to go to my iron and I'm going to press that open. All right, so I got those sewn together. I did the same thing for my second block. You can see here I have my blues in the center forming kind of a diamond pattern. Have my green triangles on the outside. Here's what it looks like on the wrong side. Got all my seams pressed open, okay? And now these finished blocks, this is what I joined together to make the large quilt, right? Then I had these lined up next to each other, and then I joined these together, and I just kept doing that across and then up to make the big quilt top. Now with these, I'm keeping them separate, right? So they're 18-inch squares. And now what I need to do, since I'm quilting mine, is I need to form the quilt sandwich. Again, if you're not quilting yours, you can do this sandwich layering together. Just leave out the quilt batting in the middle. But I do recommend, especially if you're going to be washing your pillow covers, to go ahead and at least put a muslin backing on this to protect these raw edges and seaming. You could then like stitch in the ditch to give a little bit of stitch detail if you want it, or you can leave it like this and then just be ready for the next step where we will attach the pillow backing. But right now I'm going to work through the top and do the layering so I can do my quilting. Okay, so we're going to get this quilt sandwich together. I have the this is just scrap pieces of unbleached cotton that I just keep for these kinds of projects. You can use any kind of scrap fabric or an unbleached muslin. You know, if you have big chunks of fabric that are from other projects and you don't want to use it, you can use a coordinating print, a solid, whatever. You're not going to see this. This is going to be on the inside of the pillow. Then I have my layer of the quilt batting. And now finally I've put my 18-inch quilt square on the top, okay? And so what I'm going to do, again, this is not a quilting tutorial. This is really just to give you an idea of something you can do with your leftover half square triangles if you followed my tutorial for the half square triangle quilt top, okay? But you can use any extra quilt blocks. Is a great way to use those things up. You can make this on purpose if you just want to make some pillows. But anyway, I'm going to get my quilting pins in to hold this in place. And then I'm going to go over to my sewing machine. I don't have the camera set up, but I do have some other videos where I showed you some of the quilting, you know, how to quilt grid, how to do free motion quilting. I'll link to those in the description box if you're new to that and you want to see. But I'm going to keep this super simple because I don't want to distract too much from the fabric and the pattern. I'm just going to do a little kind of echo quilting around the triangles. So I'm going to stitch on the inside here, evenly spaced, and then on the outside here, evenly spaced. And then I'll probably do a second one on the inside there, okay? And then same thing with all four, all right? You could do just a simple grid where you go from peak to peak and then do your lines and then come across this way. You can use your clear ruler and some chalk to, or some disappearing ink. Again, I've shown that in previous videos. I'll link to a bunch of these things because this is just supposed to be a quick ideas video, and now I'm getting a little deep in here. But I want to kind of balance it. And don't worry, I have some other tutorials coming up that will be focused on quilting as well. So look out for those. And of course, I mean, there are probably tons on YouTube if you really need some support for that. But for now, I'm going to do quick stitching, kind of echo quilting, creating this little triangle pattern on all 4 segments. I'm going to do that for both of the tops, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do for the back. Okay, for my backs, I got those done, and I just did a simple grid stitch. Easier to see on the wrong side. I have to get these threads cut off, but I just did kind of a checkerboard pattern stitching. I just put some tape on the sewing machine for my line spacing. You can put removable tape or washi tape on for your guides, or again, like I said, use a ruler and some chalk or some disappearing ink to mark if you need to. And this is just one way to quilt it. Again, you can do your stippling stitch, free motion quilting, whatever you like. All right, friends, so I have the quilting done on my 2 blocks. I'm going to flip this over. It'll be a little bit easier to see the pattern that I did. Yeah, so it's kind of pseudo echo quilting of that triangular shape. I did both blocks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and just trim off. First I'm going to press these, then I'm going to just trim off the excess of the quilting layer and that backing layer. Okay, so I've trimmed off the excess of the quilt batting and that backing layer. I did that on all of the pieces. So I have a front and back for 2 pillows. I didn't press it yet, so I'm going to go press this really quickly, and then we're going to do the final assembly. Now I'm going to be putting zipper closures on these pillows, so I'm going to show you how to get that zipper installed as we complete this project. Okay, so these are now pressed down. I pulled out my 2 invisible zippers. I pulled out the 2 invisible zippers that I'm going to use. I wish I had a good blue or purple one, but I don't. Well, I just had a single one and I need 2, so that's fine. I'm going to do an invisible zipper, so you're not going to see the zipper. You'll just see the little pull. And again, it's going to be at the bottom of the pillow, so you're not really going to see it when it's you know, on your bed or your sofa or whatever. Okay, so I need to have a back and a front. And the first thing we need to do is get our invisible zipper out of the packaging and get that prepared. And friends, on the back of the zipper, it's going to give you directions on lengthening and shortening your zipper if you need to do that. Remember, my squares are 18-inch square, and I'm using this 12 to 14-inch zipper. I didn't have any 16-inch zippers on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. Just want to use a zipper whose opening is, you know, it's going to allow you to open up your pillow cover enough to put in your pillow insert. And so, you know, when you unbox your zipper or take the packaging off, it's going to look like this. You can see here, you can't see any of the zipper teeth. And when you unzip it, you still can't see the zipper teeth. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the iron. I'm going to have the right face of the right side of the zipper facing down, the wrong side facing up. I'm going to put my iron on the synthetic setting. And then what I have to do is just see how with my thumb, I'm rolling this out. I need to press that out. So I'm pressing the teeth away from this fabric edge so that on the right side, I'll actually be able to see the zipper teeth. So you can see here, I don't see it now. I'm going to press it. I'm going to press it so that I'm able to see it. So I got to press it so that it looks like this when I'm done, okay? But you're going to press it from the wrong side. So you'll see what I mean when I come back. I'll show you the unpressed I'll leave one unpressed and I'll show you pressed. Okay, so my zipper has been pressed, and you see now when I have the right side facing up, I can actually see the zipper teeth, okay? I'm gonna take this one out of the packaging and show you what it looks like unpressed to pressed. And all the directions are in, I'm just showing you this, but it comes with directions. So you can also just look at the insert that comes with your zipper. And it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to install your zipper. But I'll just show you bits here. So again, here's what it looks like as it comes out of the package zipped. And I'm gonna unzip it. If you look closely here, you see the difference, right? See how from the one that I haven't pressed yet, you cannot see those teeth with the right side facing up. And here I've pressed them out, and so now you can see them, okay? This is the right side. So I'm gonna prepare this other zipper, and then I'm gonna get my zippers pinned onto one side of the fabric, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm gonna sew these in parallel, prepping them both at the same time. All right, and so because my zippers are shorter than the full length of my edge, I'm gonna go ahead. I have my my pillow front and back with the right side facing, and I'm just gonna mark. I'm just gonna put in little nips here and here to mark my zipper placement. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other one, just so when I go to sew these together, because you're gonna sew one side to the zipper, then you're gonna sew the other side to the zipper, and you wanna make sure that you're starting and stopping your zipper in the same place so that when you zip it closed, your edges are lined up, okay? So you can see here, I just put in little nips with my scissors. You can use a marker or whatever you want to use for that. Okay, so I have the first side of the zipper pinned to the right side of the fabric. I have right side facing the right side of the fabric facing the right side of the zipper. So you can see here, you should see the back part of the zipper pull. And you have those edges lined up. I have my marking set. I'm going to go and stitch this, and I'm going to put my zipper foot on, and I'm just going to stitch just along the outer edge of where the zipper teeth are, basically using my zipper foot edge as a lining. I'm going to use the zipper foot lining as a mark to keep that straight line. And so, yeah, I'm going to do this first side, and then I'm going to come back and pin this edge right side facing my back piece right side. But I'll show you that, okay? Which is going to stitch right to the right of my zipper teeth, of the zipper, so it's sewing right to the right of those zipper teeth, just as I want. I'll just take my time stitching this down, removing those pins that I have holding the zipper in place before sewing over it and possibly damaging my sewing machine, breaking a needle. All right, so let's take a peek where we are. So, all right, so here is the step where I ended on the sewing machine. I told you that I went in and I just switched back to, I had my invisible zipper foot in. I like that to make sure I really don't accidentally sew over the teeth. Then I switched back to the regular presser foot and sewed, pulled the zipper up and finished that little section of the zipper that I hadn't attached. So that's the stage that that's at right now. So you can see here, it's like the zipper is in there, but these are still loosey-goosey, right? Next step you're gonna do, oh, and I did go ahead and serge my edges. I'm in the middle of working on something else and have black thread on my serger. For the sake of this video, I just did that, don't worry, and got got a little messy over there. We're not worrying about all that right now. But you can see here, I did finish my raw edges. If you don't have a serger, you could bind your edges or use pinking shears or just do like a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. But what I did then is I came in and I pinned back a little bit beyond where I attached the zipper, and then I just did a stitch, back stitch, and then stitch straight across, back stitch to close up the rest of that seam, okay? And did the same thing on the other side. So you can see here now that it's fully attached, front and back, all the way down to the edge. There's my zipper opening, okay? And then when the zipper is closed, the only thing I see is my little zipper pull sticking out, okay? Same thing on this other pillow. And then what we're gonna do for both of them now is we're gonna leave the zipper open, okay? Let me do that now. Okay, so the zipper's open because this is where we're gonna use this opening to turn the pillow cover right side out. And now we're just gonna pin the remaining 3 edges, and we're gonna sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance around those remaining 3 edges, okay? All right, friends, so I got those 3 other edges sewn and serged. Whoops, where's my opening? Here. And then remember here, I left my zippers open. And then I'm just gonna stick my hand inside, turn that right side out, okay? So grab the right side and pull it out. Okay, so here's the first one turned right side out. I'm gonna do some pressing. I'm gonna get the other one turned out. I got some little straggler strings that I need to cut off. I'm gonna get it pressed, and I'm gonna put my pillow form inside and show you what this looks like. All right, friends, so we got the pillows done. I'm going to put the camera around and we can look at these flat down, but just so you can see, our invisible zipper is installed. And it's just an easy open, pull your pillow form out, and then you can wash it and get it back on there, yeah? So I think these turned out so cute. And again, you can use any quilt blocks. You have extra quilt blocks, just combine them to the size that you need your pillow form to be. So I typically, if I'm using an 18 by 18 inch pillow form, I want my pillow to be that same dimension to stuff it to the fullness. So this started as an 18 inch block. Because I sewed it down with 1/2 inch seams all around, it ends up being a 17 inch square block. And you can stuff these with 17 inch pillows, 18 inch pillows if you want them really padded. It also depends on the filling of your pillow, right? So you can just play around with that. You can custom make your pillow form to fit also if you have things to stuff. I mean, you can reuse scraps and things like that to stuff your pillows, but you can also buy pillow form. So yeah, that is it. Okay, we will close out with some closer looks to this. Remember that I did make, I love pillows. I did, in the back. So the back, see, I just used that solid color print. You could do a second quilt block for your back with the invisible zipper, or you can use a regular zipper. I like to use invisible zippers with this kind of stuff because then you don't see those teeth. But that's just a preference. A zipper is a zipper. But you could do a flap closure with buttons. You could do the envelope back style, which is a really easy way to do things. I did it this way because I wanted the pillow to be reversible. You know, with the envelope flap, you kind of see that, and I don't know. I mean, it works. I've done it where you put the buttons down so it stays closed, but this just looks more professional to me. And yeah, I think this looks like a really high quality pillow. And I mean, you can make this from scrap quilt blocks. You can make this from scrap fabric. Just a lot of fun. And so, again, I will be showcasing more tutorials on pillows and easy home decor things coming up. Trying to give you some tips and tricks to use up your fabric. But again, remember, you could use 2 quilt blocks and have 2 reversible You can have a fully reversible pillow to your mood. You can set it up, you know, especially if you have the quilt. You could do like this. You could do a solid on the back if you want to break up the print. Many options. All right. So remember, I will link in the description box to the tutorial that I did on making the half square triangles and where I made that huge half square triangle quilt top. So in an upcoming video, you're going to see that finished quilt along with all the other quilt tops that I've made so far and some other ones that I haven't shown you on the channel. And that one, I'm just going to show you the finished quilt so you can see how those projects turned out. Okay, head out of this video by looking just at some close-up peeks of the pillows. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys back here again soon. Bye.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together. We'll all seem better outside, just us in the sky. Part of this circus, is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter, or is this our fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside.